Okay, you filming? Hey, welcome back. Today we're gonna do a breakfast sandwich. I'm a big fan of Joshua Wiseman, who I just saw did a breakfast sandwich, and shit is going viral, so I was like, I'm gonna make one too. Pretty simple, straightforward. Let's get started.
Yeah, she took a headshot. Yeah, I don't wanna listen, no, you talk a lot. Yeah, I'm the one who's trying to get to barking dog. Yeah, if you come around me, beware it. Please don't say you love me, don't love me. Cause yeah, I look like a nightmare. I got shadow back along with flowers on me, near on me, right? Bitch, I feel like a nightmare. I need Rari, bitch, and Audi, way. Burn it up a bitter. Say you want me back, I suggest you take it back. Don't get too attached, I got all this in my bag. Got me evil, baby, back. Catch me cutting through the traffic. Wish, baby, magic. Nightmare to fashion. Digging up my grave by the lilacs, yeah. I'ma need my mind and my time back, yeah. Ready all the rest with my belly tucked. Bitch, please don't fucking wake me up, cause I can't handle that.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one of my favorite things. I actually don't really love tomatoes, to be honest. My favorite way to have them is this really slow roasted tomato. So I'm gonna show you how to do them. They take a long time. So if you're sitting at home all day and you have a bunch of tomatoes that are about to go, pop these in the oven. They're so worth it. I'm gonna put these in a little roasting pan, and I have an oven preheated to 300. I'm gonna put a little bit of sugar on here. And what happens is they have a lot of water in them. So this little bit of sugar will mix with that water and it'll start to caramelize. And they'll end up really sweet, like jammy tomatoes. So I'll put a little bit of salt on here as well. Keep it savory. A little bit of black pepper. And then I'm gonna take some oil. This is some garlic oil that I have, but you can just use olive oil. And then just get these coated, kind of, rummage them around. Make sure you got a little bit of everything on everything. And then to start them, I do them cut side up. Okay, so that's it. These will go into a 300-degree oven. Now they take, don't freak out, but they take 3 hours, but they're so worth it. And all you literally have to do is put them in there, put a timer on your phone for an hour and a half, flip them to the other side, cook them for another hour and a half, and then if they're still not if they haven't picked up any color, put the heat up to 325 for an extra 20 minutes. Everyone's oven's kind of different, so. Yesterday I did some ahead of time so we don't have to wait the full 3 hours. And this is what they look like. They're like sticky. They're so nice. They're caramelized, they're jammy, they're sweet. You can see all that liquid is concentrated, like tomato caramel almost. So we're gonna make a mayo. Obviously we're gonna make our own. We're not playing with that store-bought stuff. It's gonna be a pretty classic mayo, nothing too out of the ordinary here. So I got 2 egg yolks in here. So I just separated ahead of time. The grainy mustard looks really cool in a mayo. I just think it looks nice. So I'm gonna use whatever that was, half a tablespoon. 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. A little bit of black pepper in this. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this before, but I'm gonna emulsify the oil next. And again, all that is the reason I measure all this into a blender is because we're gonna blend it and slowly add canola oil. I like to use a neutral oil so that it doesn't mess with any of the flavors I have going on in there. If you prefer the flavor of olive oil, feel free to use olive oil. And you just want to add slowly, drizzle it very slowly into the top of your blender until it's the consistency you like. The more oil you add, the thicker the mayo will get. So I have a consistency preference that I like, but if you like it thicker, just feel free to keep adding some more oil. I just realized I did not season it with salt. So I'm at the consistency I like, but I forgot to add salt. Literally the most important thing. So I'm just gonna add some salt now. It's early in the morning, so my brain's not quite on. Okay, there we go. Look how fast that was to make our own mayo that tastes way better than anything you can buy in the store. Little grainy Dijon mustard in there. It's perfect. Yeah, that's great. Got a nice loaf of bread from a local bakery. Usually I get sourdough, but I was pretty enticed by this seed bread. Now we're doing a soft scramble breakfast sandwich. I think there's plenty of fried egg breakfast sandwiches out there. And I mean, if you've watched my videos for a while, you know that I love the soft scrambled egg. The only issue with the soft scrambled egg is you kind of need a sturdy bread. So you can't use like a brioche. Like a brioche works really good for a fried egg, but because soft scrambled is kind of custardy, you need something sturdy that's not gonna get soggy. So I went with this seed bread just because I could feel it and see that it could hold up. Preheat the pan and griddle this bread. But yeah, when you're buying bread, I would just say, go to a local bakery. Every city has people who are passionate about bread. Those like big box places that you go to in the grocery store that make thousands of loaves everywhere daily. They don't really care about bread like the small people who are only making 20 loaves that day. They're making sure that they're giving you like amazing loaves of bread, and they're using way higher quality ingredients because they're not worried about profit. They just actually care about bread. So it's worth it to go to a local bakery and find like good bread, and you can support local business that way. So we're down with that. Brendan's about to work today, so kind of perfect. He's gonna get a little breakfast sandwich before work. Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen me do this a bunch. Melt the butter in the pan, toast the bread on one side. You can't have a breakfast sandwich without cheese. The cheese I'm using today is aged Havarti, something that's like a good melting cheese. There's so many different types of cheese out there. You can always Google like good melting cheeses. Gruyere works really nice. Cheddar, even just like a white cheddar works really well. So I'm gonna use Havarti today. And I'm just gonna do it on one side of the bread. So just make sure you cut enough for one side. We got enough. We got enough with a little extra. Ooh. Damn, that's good cheese. Havarti's so good. Slept on cheese. Okay, so we'll get our bread in, and this will melt that cheese really nicely. And in the meantime, we will do our eggs. So for this pretty big piece of bread, so I'm gonna do 2 eggs. You gotta make sure you have enough eggs on your sandwich, you know? Like the 1 egg, people cheap out at restaurants. Restaurants cheap out on this. You do like 1 egg breakfast sandwiches, and it's like, that's just not enough. So a little bit of butter in that. You don't have to wait for this to melt. Eggs are so, like I always just cook my eggs and my butter at the same time, because egg is like one of the strongest binders. So as this butter melts, it becomes one with the eggs. It emulsifies. Now also really important with your eggs is I whipped them with a fork. You don't have to like whip a bunch of air into them, but you do need to, and I've talked about this before as well, but you do need to combine those things. So when your yolks, like the reason you do that is your yolks and your whites have 2 different cooking temperatures and times. If you don't mix them well and you don't make them become one, you'll end up with watery eggs because those whites are still separate. So if you take the time to whip it, you combine them and they become a new thing with a new cooking temperature. So it's very worth whipping your eggs. That's probably the biggest mistake people make with scrambled eggs. Even if you don't like a soft scramble, just make sure that they're at least combined so they have the same cooking temperature. Okay, so these eggs were cooking for about 5 minutes, medium low. And as you can see, I always use a nonstick pan and a spatula, just so that I can keep them moving and not waste any egg. I can always spatula all this stuff from the side. I just want to, once I'm happy with the consistency, I just want to get them out of this pan so that they don't continue to cook. And as you can see, they're all one color and there's no like grease, you know? You would think there would be because of the butter we put in there, but like I said, it emulsifies into the egg as it cooks because egg is such a good binder. So I just season that with a little bit of salt. We're gonna mayo our bread. It's really hard to get out of the blender. There's a little piece of foil on that bread. Can we? Ooh, this is gonna be good, bro. And then with these tomatoes, I like to chop them up a bit. I'll make a little layer across the sandwich here. These are like so sweet and so nice. There's no fucking way this thing's gonna suck. And then we'll go on with our eggs. The fuck was that? We'll put the lid on it. Ooh. Yo, it's so good, dude. It's so fucking good. I mean, what can I say? The tomatoes are so nice and sweet. It goes really well with the Havarti because Havarti kind of has this like sweet caramelly undertone, and then it gets brightened up by that mayo. The eggs are like rich, beautiful, custardy, seasoned well. Love that bread. I don't know, that's a good sandwich. That's a really good sandwich. Yeah, so that's it for the video. One more bite before the outro here. If you got a breakfast sandwich that is better than this one, let me know, because I'm calling a lie. This is literally the best breakfast sandwich on the face of the earth. I promise you that. For sandwiches, man. You can't live with them, you can't live without them. If you make it, let me know. Appreciate you doing all the YouTube stuff. If you do it. If you don't do it, I'll fucking kill you. Just kidding. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.